Okay. Good morning. Today is the 10th day of Tammuz, July 16th. We're finishing the chapter 12 and the section called Shaar Hayichud Vihaemuna. Tomorrow we start a new section called the Tshuva. Perfect timing as we are in the middle of the month of Tammuz and then Av and getting closer to Rosh Hashanah. It's a good time to start thinking about Tshuva, right? All right. In any event, let's finish off the parak today. It's always a good time. That's right. We're talking about the 10 utterances and the way the Eibishter created the world. And we used the sun as an example of the light of Hashem coming down. And just as the farther you get away from the sun, so too, allegorically speaking, the farther away the creations are from the essence of Hashem, I don't know how to describe it perfectly, but the weaker the power of the light, so to speak, and the more diffused it gets. The less intense, that's right. So in today's lesson, the 10 divine creative utterances being closer to the essence of Hashem, Atzilus and Ein Sof, are more powerful energy and in general terms of what they generate in creation. The more the words are exchanged and transposed, as we said before, you can substitute certain letters for different letters. And the more diluted the energy, it results in a lower creature, and the more minute, and the minutia of the universe. Okay. Today we're talking about this light, the extension of the light, the substitution of the letters as the example we're giving, resemble the light that shines upon the earth at night from the moon. What's the light of the moon? It's actually from the sun. The light which is on the earth is a light reflecting from the light of the sun. I like how it says this. It says, exactly so, allegorically speaking. It's not exactly so. It's allegorically speaking, but the letters comprising the utterances are the aggregate flow of the life force and the light and the power that issue from the attribute of the Holy One, blessed be He. To do what? To create the worlds from nothingness into something, giving them life, giving them energy to be alive and sustain them so long as God wills it. So the general life force thus emanates from the utterances themselves. But again, it's almost like if you're speaking, if somebody's all the way over there in the other room, they might hear what I'm saying, but the farther away you get, the weaker the sound. So the farther away we are from the essence of Hashem, from this aggregate flow and mighty radiation of the utterances themselves, Hashem causes its similar derivation and its offshoots to shine and issue forth. These being the extension of the light from these letters that we talked about, the 22 letters of the Torah that had the Hebrew language that have to be exact, and not just in their order, but also in their shape and their enunciation and everything else. And these derivations and offshoots are the substitutions of letters and their transpositions which Hashem created. Each particular creature of the world, every single creation has its combination of these letters that brought them into being. Likewise, Hashem projected the light from the letters in another manner and caused a radiation of a radiation of a radiation to issue forth and descend from one level to the next of the light from the letters. in the earlier analogy that we said just a minute ago, the moon's reflected light was a radiation of the sun's radiation. So we have a ray of the sun and it hits the moon. Certain times of the month it's stronger and certain times of the month it's weaker. And the Alter Rebbe now speaks of a descent one generation further removed, merely a radiation of a radiation of a radiation. And likewise, he further caused the radiation of the radiation, etc., to issue forth and descend to the lowest level in the chain of descents. So you could think, Luchais, the Beis Hamikdash, Har Sinai, that's where there's a godliness, maybe in the heart of a person, the neshama, the soul, but a little crumb, a little piece of dirt, the smallest, anyone have trouble with fruit flies or bugs this season? Really? There's godliness in there? So the smallest creature, the smallest creation, a little grain of salt, Himalayan salt, of course. But even the smallest thing also gets energy from Hashem, but it's just further and further away. So it's maybe less powerful energy. And when you have a human being that thinks and talks and connects to Hashem spiritually, it's a higher level. And of course, then going up the chain, we go to the spiritual world, the souls of people that have departed, the souls, God willing, that have yet to come down into the life of a child, a baby, or even the angels. So we're talking about the chain of descent going lower and lower, until completely inanimate beings such as stones and earth were created. We kept using this as an example, the stone, Even, Aleph, Beis, Nun, or even Afar, Ayin, Fei, Reish, Em Chilufe, De Chilufem, V'chulu, Tmurais, De Tmurais, V'chulu, Kniskel Il, the names being each object's life force. The Ayin, Fei, Reish gives that tiny piece of dirt the ability to exist, even if they are substitutions upon substitutions and transpositions upon transpositions, etc., radiation of radiation. There's a whole Seder Shtalshalos until it gets to that point, boom, this tablecloth can now exist. Thus, the life force and existence of every created being are the letters of a particular divine utterance, and to this, the created being is utterly nullified. In this manner, all of creation is nullified to Hashem and united with Him. Nishlam chelik sheni bes Hashem yisparech v'yisaleh. This is the conclusion of the second part of this book, which is called the Tanya, which we began on the 19th day of Kislev, and we continue through with the help of Hashem. May He be blessed and exalted. The takeaway for today is the rays of moonlight come from the moon, but the moon receives its light from the sun. It reminds me of that mashal of the story that Rabbi Herson always says. He went to David Chase to ask him for a large number, $1 million, and he says, "I feel like you're manipulating me." He says, "Yes," and I was manipulated by the Rebbe to do the work, and the Rebbe was manipulated by God. So there's a chain. It all comes down. So the sun shines at night, and we get the light. But the sun is, what did I say? The sun? The moon shines at night, but the sun is really giving it its shine. Oh, do we say during the day, oh, the sun is end all be all? No. It's the sun that gets the light from Hashem. There's a chain that goes all the way up the chain until we get to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Thus, the moonlight, you see, is a ray of the sun's light. So like we see here, comes all the way from the sun. God's energy also has multiple levels, and as we said, it comes from all those different letters and transpositions, etc., etc. But we have to understand from Hashem's perspective, it's all just HaKadosh Baruch Hu. From our perspective, there's so much going on, and we have to take a moment once in a while to say, thank you, Hashem. You took the time amongst all the things that you're likely busy with. Not that Hashem has to, because He's the knower, and He's the known, and He's the knowledge, and He's the creator, and He can do anything. He just has to think about us, which He does all the time, and that's why we're alive. So with this in mind, we will conclude for today, and we'll continue tomorrow morning. Mitzvah. Guys, don't forget tonight at 7 p.m., you can come a little bit earlier. We have the program to meet survivors of Kfar Aza and 2 Israeli soldiers who will be joining us as well. So that's tonight. It begins at 7. Come a little early to get a good seat. And the program ends at 8, and then we have Mincha Marav at 8:20. Have a good day, everyone.